My name is Clint Bentley. I'm the co-writer and producer of TRANSPECOS.
Tell me a little about your film.
TRANSPECOS is set in the world of the Border Patrol. It's about 3 Border Patrol agents on a boring day at a checkpoint out in the middle of nowhere, and one car comes through and changes their life. And the next 24 hours, what's in that car sets them on a journey over the next 24 hours that might leave them all dead. We don't know.
Awesome. So it's an action film.
It is a thriller. Yeah, it's a but very it's a thriller, but very much based in the human drama of the element and in actual real characters.
Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about your characters.
We've got the film revolves around 3 Border Patrol agents, all at different levels of their job and different with different viewpoints of their job. So we've got Johnny Simmons, who's a Dallas native, and he plays Agent Davis. He's a young agent. He's pretty new to the force. He knows what he's doing, but he's not very serious about his job all the time. Agent Flores is played by Gabriel Luna from Austin, Texas, and this agent just has an uncanny ability to track, which is something we encountered with real agents out there, that they can track things that no one else can see across the desert just through the sand. One agent joked that an agent who was good at tracking could tell how much change a person's carrying in their pocket just by looking at their footprints. And then finally we've got Clifton Collins Jr. in the film as Agent Hobbs, and he's an old guard. He's been in the Border Patrol a long time, and he's got a little bit of a deeper view of his job that doesn't always translate to what's supposed to happen on paper, So yeah, those are the 3 characters which it revolves around. With different views of their jobs, like I said before, because we wanted to represent all the sides, all the viewpoints of the border, everything from build a wall and keep everyone out to it's not such a big deal, and everything in between.
Awesome. So when the writers wrote the script, did they? It sounds like they researched the Border Patrol itself and talked to them.
Yeah. So Greg the director, and I wrote the script together, and we spent 4 years researching this film. We started writing in 2011, and we didn't shoot until 2015. And in that time, we had a lot of trouble actually getting interviews with Border Patrol agents going through the actual agency and getting approval from the agency. So what we ended up doing was we would end up just drive through West Texas, and a lot of times out there you'll see a Border Patrol agent just standing out by himself or herself. And sometimes out there, especially in the Marfa sector and in Big Bend region, there would just be 1 agent per 100 miles. And so these agents sometimes stand there just bored out of their minds, looking across the desert, just nursing a gallon jug of water. So we would stop, pretend to be Canadian tourists who were lost, and then just start talking to the agents. And they so craved to having someone to talk to that stories would just start pouring out once they realized that we weren't after any gotcha questions. We weren't trying to, pin them on anything. We were just trying to get to know them. And then so we made friends with a few agents through situations like that we then ended up, closing down bars with in these little towns out in the middle of nowhere. And just hearing stories that are too strange to ever put in a movie, that are too strange to be believable. And then we also had a tech advisor on our film, Sam Sadler. He's retired from Border Patrol after working there for 25 years. And the film, the knowledge that he brought to the film and firsthand experience is just was insanely valuable. We would not have had the film that we do without his help.
Where did you bring your crew in from?
Our crew was a mix of we filmed in southern New Mexico in a place called Deming, New Mexico, which you would pass this place if you didn't know to stop there, but it proved the perfect location for us. Our crew was a mix of local New Mexico talent, Texas crew that we've been friends with forever, and an LA crew we've been friends with forever. So it was a mix of those 3 places.
Okay. They're Border Patrol agents, so they carried weapons. So
in real life or
in the movie? So
yeah,
do they actually use the weapons in the movie?
Yes, So, are you asking if we had fake guns, or what's the question?
Yeah. Basically, just tell me. That's one of the things that you see. There are times when you see a film made and they never pull the weapons out, and you're like, you don't know what it is. So, and then you have films where they actually shoot, and you're like, okay, that was 19 rounds out of a revolver.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good question. I thought this is what you were asking, but I wanted to make sure. So the way we treated, yes, the agents used the weapons in the film, but it's not a shoot 'em up film. It's not an action film. This is not a man flying through the air to shoot down a helicopter. This is violence in this film. We tried to treat it as realistic as possible, and so violence has really lasting human consequences in real life, and it does in the film as well. And pulling a gun on somebody is not just something that you do. It is a real terrible act, and so when it's done, there's kind of a point of no return after that. So
this is true, and that's the reason I was
in many situations. So yeah, we definitely, we wanted to make, it's a movie at the end of the day, but we wanted to make it as close to reality as possible. And the Greg Cuidar, the director, and our DP, Jeff Waldron, came up with a bunch of rules for filming it. And one of them was, the idea was that, what if a documentary crew just got dropped in on this boring day on the job with these Border Patrol agents that then turns and is very the opposite of boring. It's very not boring after a while. But at the end of the day, it's just this documentary crew following them around, and so that's the approach to the filmmaking. It's not a shtick of the movie, but so.
Well, tell me about how you found your talent. I mean, when you got some great names there.
Yeah.
Did you approach them, or did you do a casting call, or?
No. Well, we worked through. We had a casting director, Rich Delia, who's amazing. He put together the cast for Short Term 12 and was instrumental on Dallas Buyers Club, and just he really knows how to put together an ensemble, and so we leaned on him to help us through the process and help cast it. But all of these actors we had an immense amount of respect for leading up to this, and Clifton Collins Jr. obviously has a list longer than we could go over here of amazing films that he's done and amazing characters that he's played, and we felt like he could bring something really interesting to this character of an older agent who's got some unsavory views about his job. Gabriel Luna has been somebody he's worked with our friends on films, and we've watched him for a long time, and there's this. Gabriel's got such an amazing range. From he can do comedy, he can do action, and he's done everything from True Detective to Intramural. He's a huge range from comedy to drama and action drama. What we liked about him is there's this deep soulfulness to him that we wanted to bring out, that you can tell just by sitting with him for 2 minutes that we wanted to bring out. And then with Johnny. He has been in a ton of movies. He's been acting since he was 6, I think. He's been in a ton of movies as well, but like with exponential amount higher budget than we had. And so he's kind of, even though he's a little younger, he's a veteran as well. But Johnny's just such an amazing actor, and he was actually in the short film version of Whiplash that the longer feature was made from, and he's just got, he's got a reviewer actually said this about the film. They said it better than I could, but I like the way they phrased it. Is he's got a young face, he's got a fresh face to him, but there's a lot of depth. And there's an older person kind of behind that fresh face.
He's got an old soul.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of these actors, we went through the typical process, but they all met with Greg, our director, beforehand, and they just talked about the Border Patrol, talked about the world, and talked about what drives them as people, and ultimately we all became a little family out of it, and the actors. I'm sorry I'm being long-winded here, but I can't talk about it enough of how I can't praise them enough for all these actors brought things to these characters that Greg and I didn't see when we were writing it.
Well, how did you guys raise the budget? I mean, how did you?
It was all privately financed. There was no. We didn't do any. I know you had asked earlier about Indiegogo or Kickstarter or something like that. We didn't do any crowdsourcing campaigns. Everything was privately raised on our own.
That's the hard way to do it.
It's very hard. It's very hard. I don't think I have friends and I know people who funded movies a lot of different ways. I don't think there's any easy way to do it these days. Yes, it was difficult on our end, but I think everybody has a hard time raising money for films. But you hope it's worth it in the end when you get to create some magic on screen that hopefully affects people's lives in a positive way.
Okay, tell me something.
Yeah.
That little town that you shot in.
Yeah.
How big an impact monetarily did you have on that city? Or excuse me, that town.
Yeah. I think it was big. It was meaningful. But it was a give and take. Definitely, we came to a town and we brought a film production, albeit a small film production, but big for them. But the whole town kind of rallied behind the movie, and so we got so much more value than any money that we spent in that town, just because of everybody from locals wanting to be extras in the movie to. We would say, hey, we need a table for this scene, and someone would say, well, I've got a table in my office. Why don't you take anything else out of the office you want at the same time? So, hey, we need a truck, to pull this trailer with. Well, why don't I give you a trailer too, in case you need an extra one? Like, it just, amazing stuff. And there was something else I was going to say there too, that about the town. Man, I wish.
How about the food?
Oh, the food was amazing. Yeah, the food was amazing. Some of the best Mexican food we've ever had. Still, if you go to Irma's in Deming, New Mexico, you'll find the best salsa around. So
that's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the film and why people want to go see it?
Yeah. We wanted to make a thrilling film. It's a thriller at the end of the day. We wanted to make an exciting film that just keeps you on the edge of your seat, but at the same time, it's all grounded in human beings. And it's a film about the border conflict. It's a film set in the world of the Border Patrol, but at the end of the day, it's just about human beings, and it's about three agents trying to do the best they can in this crazy situation. And so one hope we had outside of it being just a thrilling movie is that whatever side of the political spectrum you fall on, and whatever preconceptions you have about the border going into the movie, those are maybe a little different when you come out. And audiences, we just came off of playing at the South by Southwest Film Festival, and audience have responded amazingly to it. So,
well, obviously you're fairly early into your film festival run.
Yeah.
Have you guys started looking at distribution deals? Or
we are looking at distribution right now. We're talking to a few different distributors about distributing the film.
So you're hoping to get some.
So hopefully it'll be in a theater near you soon. It plays. I mean, if anybody's ever been out, who's watching or listening to this, anybody who's ever been out to West Texas or Southern New Mexico, it's all the same desert, despite the lines that we draw on the map. Anybody who's ever been out there knows that you don't have to do much to make it look beautiful, and those wide desert vistas and the sand and the tones of the sand and it all plays really well on a big screen. So we're excited to bring it to Dallas. We're playing the 20th and the 21st of this month.
Awesome.
We're excited to see it with an audience again.
Do you have a website?
We do. It's transpecosmovie.com.
Are you on Facebook or Twitter or any other?
We're on all of the social media elements. So you can tag us, hashtag us, you can at us, I don't know, mention us.
What would the hashtag be?
At TRANSPECOS. Hashtag TRANSPECOS.
Awesome.
So,
appreciate it.
At TRANSPECOS movie. And the hashtag is TRANSPECOS.
Okay.
So,
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.